Howdy, guys, and welcome to night 13 of Big Brother season 23. And welcome to Cliff Notes from outside the Big Brother house. Now, before we talk about what happened last night, let's do a quick refresher on yesterday during the day. We had the veto ceremony. As you recall, Derek X controlled the veto. And as expected, he did not use the veto, chose not to. I really would have been amazed if he had. He didn't use it. So as a result, Frenchie and Brittany stay on the block. One of them will be going home Thursday night on the live eviction ceremony. With almost 100% certainty, it's going to be Frenchie. Unless something just amazing happens and flips between now and then. Frenchie's time in the house is pretty much done. In fact, at this point, the writing is pretty much on the wall. I expect one or two people who maybe would support Frenchie a little bit will back off. They'll want to vote with the House. Yeah, I know people don't like seeing that, but I expect it to happen anyway. I expect either a 12-0 vote, maybe an 11-1 vote, or you could have a couple of people throwing in a hinky vote just to stir up a little more chaos, which is entirely feasible. Frenchie's been talking to people saying, man, I don't mind begging. Someone just please give me a pity vote. Just don't make it unanimous. So Frenchie understands as well that the support or the voting is going to go overwhelmingly against him. Brittany knows it too. She doesn't like being on the block, but she's accepted that she is truly just a pawn. Got to be careful. Pawns go home. But in this week, I don't think that's going to be the case. So let's talk about what actually happened overnight. The house guests were in the backyard enjoying basically their last day of the week. I fully expect that by now the yard is probably already shut down. Tuesday morning at some point, it'll be shut down. So they're just enjoying the backyard. The Thursday vote doesn't really have anyone scrambling because the expectation is so much certainty with everyone in the house. So it's a pretty chill afternoon, pretty chill evening, not a whole lot of really intense campaigning, arguing, anything else. We had a few conversations, but for the more or less, it was pretty relaxed. We did have some discussions about a Big Brother prom. Now, at one point, I thought it was going to be held at some point last night. It never happened. I think it maybe is scheduled for tonight. Everyone's going to try to pair up with someone else, and I don't know if they're going to dress up or what. There was a lot of discussions throughout the evening about who is compatible with who would ask who to the prom and things like that. And I know they're just having fun, but here's the thing you got to keep in mind. When you're pairing up with partners, does that tell other people in that house maybe who is friends with who? Even if you're playing it for laughs and fun and everything else, there's still people paying attention. Christian and Alyssa, are they going to prom together? I've heard talk that they may not, just to make it less obvious that this non-showmance exists. Yeah, like anyone doesn't think that's happening. But you got to be careful when you start partnering up, even when you're doing it just for fun, to see who links up with who and what that means for the game of Big Brother, and not just for this Big Brother prom. So we'll see what happens. We got a couple of conversations going on. Sarah Beth is complimenting Brittany's veto speech that she gave. We haven't seen the speech yet. We'll see it Wednesday night on the episode. But she's complimenting Brittany, saying, it's a great speech. Zach is going to love it. Apparently, Brittany is a huge Zach Rance fan. She's referenced him multiple times. She did it in this speech. She's talked about Fruit Loop Dingus and things like that. I imagine we're going to hear it again on Thursday on the eviction speech as well. She continues to work on that speech. I tell you what, Brittany's going to be prepared. I'm not sure exactly. Well, I kind of know what the speech is going to be because I've heard it a few times, but she's very much preparing for Thursday night's eviction ceremony and the speech that she gets to give. Sarah Beth is talking a little bit. She's saying that she wants to win HOH on Thursday because it's her brother's birthday. And so that's kind of her gift to him, is winning HOH on his birthday, which is, I get it. That's kind of a neat thing to do. But here's the thing. Sarah Beth, I think, is in a pretty good position. I really haven't heard her name mentioned seriously. Everyone gets their name thrown out there here or there, but I don't think she is a serious threat to be put on the block by anyone in the house at this point in time. She already won the wild card. If she followed that up with an HOH victory, does that start making her look like more of a target? And does it potentially put her on the radar with certain other people in this house? Perhaps so. But on the other hand, it also gives her a chance to control the narrative a little bit. It gives her a chance to build up her resume. you got to be thinking the long game. And the long game is that you want to be there at the very end of the final two. And part of that argument, it should be how you did on the competitions and such. So you've got to start building your resume a little bit. So I get it. And I don't think it's a bad thing if she's competing for the HOH. I go for every competition. But if she doesn't win HOH, I don't think it necessarily is horrible for her either. But we'll find out Thursday whether she comes through and gets her brother quite the incredible birthday gift. More talk from Sarah Beth and Derek F. about Xavier being a lawyer. Remember, that was we talked about that on yesterday's recap. I don't think that necessarily Derek F. and Sarah Beth realize that they've got it figured out, that he truly is a lawyer. They're kind of saying it jokingly, and Xavier is trying to laugh it off and kind of ignore it as best he can without seeming sketchy about it. They're going to be so surprised when they get out of the house. They find out that they actually were spot on and he is an attorney. Derek F. is asking Xavier, saying, "Hey, Xavier, what's in a Long Island drink? And oh, by the way, what should you do if you're pulled over by the police as well?" So he's quizzing him a little bit. And Xavier said, "I don't know, call someone else. I'm not sure what to do on that." Sarah Beth is saying, he probably is a bartender because he probably tended bar to help pay for law school while he was in law school. And again, they're kind of laughing while they say it. But when they get out and find out they were actually right, yeah, that's going to be pretty funny. They will be surprised. Claire and Hannah are talking about the Christian Alyssa no-mance showmance. And Hannah mentioned, I thought it was pretty funny. Hannah thinks that Christian probably is really into the showmance, but that Alyssa, maybe she's just going along with it just because she's a little bored while she's in the house. And, why not? One of those guys, why not? Okay. She may be right. Claire also mentions that she's interested in Kylan, but she's not sure if he's interested back in her. And Hannah immediately says, "Nah, he's not interested in you." Wow. Okay, Hannah. I thought that was pretty funny. But Hannah then says, "No, I think Claire, I think you're better suited for Xavier. I think that works." And I think if I remember, Claire says, "I don't know. He's so good looking. I'm not sure the exact word she used, but basically she says I'd be intimidated with Xavier because of who he is." So I thought that's pretty funny. Meanwhile, Hannah mentions that she is interested in Derek X. And finally, talk about no-mance showmance. Christian and Alyssa are sharing a bed together. I don't know, for the first time, maybe. I don't remember if they've actually shared a hammock and shared some very tight personal space, but not necessarily a bed. But they're sharing a bed. Nothing risque appears to happen, as much as I can tell. In fact, Christian accidentally hits Alyssa in the face while they're in bed trying to get comfortable and all that, leading to a laughing fit. She pops out of bed. She's laughing so hard they have to leave the room, come back a little bit later. Just an FYI, when you're in those Big Brother bedrooms and the lights turn off and the doors are closed, it is pitch black in there. You can't see a thing. So I kind of understand how body parts a little too close to each other. One may kind of interfere with the other one and all that. But anyway, so yeah, again, it's not a showmance, right? It's not a showmance, but they shared a bed together. We got that. Now here's the thing. BB prom, everyone pairing off with each other, the showmance and all. Is this what we are facing after Frenchie probably goes home on Thursday? Romance roulette as all of these different people pair off with each other. I hope not. I'm missing Frenchie already, and he's not even out of the house yet, but I hope not. Hopefully, this is just the house guests taking a little bit of a breather in the game, knowing they think what the outcome is going to be on Thursday. So they're just taking a little break from the game. Come Thursday with the HOH, they go back to full speed ahead, and we get the season that we are expecting, that we're hoping for. I don't want to see just the romance and showmances dominating the rest of this season. I don't think it will. I hope not. All right, some strategy talk that we did have last night. Tiffany and Hannah are talking. Tiffany is saying that Brent and Whitney have never talked game with her, so she assumes that she very well could be one of their targets because they've just never discussed strategy at all. And perhaps that's the case, but Hannah points out to her, or tells Tiffany, says, "Look, your name hadn't come up anytime I've had a conversation with them. Claire's name has come up as maybe a backup target, things like that, but your name hadn't come up, Tiffany." And in fact, Hannah says, I really think before your put up by them, Tiffany. I think Brittany may be a bigger target. Brittany is running a risk of becoming a perpetual pawn in the eyes of a bunch of people inside this house. And I don't think that's not what Brittany wants. Obviously, that's not what Brittany wants, but I feel like a lot of people see Brittany as an easy person to put up. They don't have real tight connections with her. They don't necessarily care about her going home immediately. Now, I've heard several people say they want her out before they get to the jury phase. But they don't see her as an immediate and the top threat, but they feel pretty comfortable just throwing her up there and not worrying so much about it. So that's a tough position to hold, and Brittany's going to have to really keep developing these relationships and see how things flesh out. We do see Hannah talking to Tiffany and warning her, saying, look, Brent is the most powerful person in this house. We have got to get him out. And she tells Tiffany, says, if we get Brent out, I think the Cookout Alliance can go to the very end, because I don't think anyone else is going to target any of us within the Cookout Alliance. Brent's the one person that we've got to get out that would potentially come after us. She may have a point there. I'm not so certain that no one else would target the people in the Cookout Alliance. I'm not sure the alliance is quite that strong, but I do understand why she thinks that Brent is probably the biggest and the primary target at this point in time. A little bit more discussion between these two. Tiffany admits to Hannah, says, look, I've been working with Derek X since day 2. We're pretty tight with each other. We've been working together. Hannah loves it. In fact, they both end up agreeing that they both want to work with Derek X going forward. So Tiffany and Hannah and Derek X, maybe a little bit of a core alliance, another alliance, but I can see them continuing to work together for going forward. At this point, we then have Hannah goes upstairs to the have-not room and starts talking to Brent. I love it. That's the part I like about Big Brother. You can be talking about how dangerous a person is, how they've got to go, and then you just migrate to some other room. You find that person and you spin on a dime and you have a whole different conversation. It's what it's all about, right? That's what we love to see. So Hannah's upstairs in the have-not room. She's talking to Brent. Brent is telling her, saying, man, Hannah, you're a bit of a mystery. I just know nothing about you. And it kind of highlights again Tiffany and Hannah saying, there's some people in the house that just haven't talked a lot of game to us. They don't dislike each other. They just haven't really made that connection just yet, which means it's easier to put you up as a target if you get into the power. Meanwhile, while that conversation is going on in have-not room, Tiffany is now talking to Christian, and she's telling him what Hannah had said as well, that Brent has to go. Now, if I'm Christian, I'm not sure I want Brent to go just yet. I think Brent is a bigger target than Christian is. And especially if Frenchie's out the door, I feel like Brent becomes the big target. And he represents a bit of he's a bigger target and a bit of a meat shield protecting Christian as well. If someone wants to get out the big jock, they'll go for Brent before they'll go for Christian. So if I'm Christian, yeah, you're not going to say no, but I would be a little hesitant to be so quick to knock Brent out the door just yet. Somewhere down the road, but not right now. So we've got that. And finally, Tiffany eventually, while talking to Christian, Tiffany eventually proposed an alliance with Christian that would include the two of them, Alyssa, Claire, and Xavier. So 5 people, 2 guys, 3 women. Tiffany proposes this to Christian. Christian, receptive, but he doesn't say no, but he also doesn't seem real keen on working with Xavier necessarily. And so Tiffany says, we can change it. Knock out Xavier, put Hannah in instead. Let's do that. And so now you're talking about this potential alliance, 4 women and Christian, that would basically be run by Tiffany. I guess Christian. Tiffany and Christian have it seems like a nice working relationship. I kind of like seeing it. I'm curious to see what these two can do. Tiffany is playing a great game. I think I've got a small fear that she can end up overplaying a little bit. She's very certain. She seems very assured of the path going forward. And I don't think she's wrong. But I could also see her getting into a position where she maybe overplays her hand a little bit. But all in all, I think she's playing a great game so far. And I kind of want to see how she and Christian work together. So we'll see if this alliance develops or not. Christian never really responds one way or the other to her suggestion. We'll see. Let him stew on it a little bit. And the big thing is they're having the conversations and some names are getting thrown out there. And so it's letting us see a little bit more come the post Thursday eviction. Obviously, it all depends on who wins HOH and such, but we continue to see some sides develop, and we'll see. We'll see as these alliances flesh out come HOH and come a new HOH winner on Thursday night. That's it, guys. Again, a little talk, but mainly just people enjoying the outdoors while they could. And I expect tomorrow night it'll be the same, or tonight it'll be the same thing. Really, until Thursday, we're not going to see a whole lot of major things going on. I could be wrong, but we'll see. But I'll be back tomorrow, guys. We'll talk a little bit more, find out what happened on the Tuesday night recaps. Y'all have a great one, and I will talk to y'all in the morning. Cheers, my friends. Bye. SKD 143. Bye.